And welcome to round 15 of the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship 2025. It is the beginning of a final double header that will see out the season today. We're in Suzuka, Japan, and both titles could be decided today. But conversely, they could also go down to the wire for the first time ever in WMSC history. With me to go through all the permutations and look through the action this afternoon, as ever, is Robin Ciuman. Robin, good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing very well, and I'm very much looking forward to this one of the most iconic circuits in the world. And yeah, should be a good one.
Absolutely. Now, the race, the qualifying, so I should say, is about to start. Before we do, let's have a little look at the standings and a little look at the permutations needed. So, Lucas Murno leads Pascal Polens by 17 points. Philip Pushka is still in the fight, 27 points behind. For Philip Pushka to stay in the championship, he has to outscore Lucas Murno by at least 13 points. If Lucas Murno outscores Polens, he wins the championship. And if Polens doesn't outscore Murno by at least 2 points, Murno wins. So it's in Murno's favour, but he's had some rough races and had to do some recovery drives. If things go wrong for him today, or, God forbid, an unlucky disconnect, which hit his teammate last week as well, things could change very quickly. But Lucas Murno could seal the championship today. In the constructor standings, it's much more in Vanguard's favour at the minute. Cesare need to outscore Vanguard by 8 points or more to take it to the final round in Brazil. And looking down the table, with the exception of third, fourth, and fifth, most places are still up for grabs. We've got that fight for first and second. Lucky Hamish are leading the way for sixth, but Velocita are currently charging with Yanis Volborn, the former champion, driving for them. Beta Julia are also in close proximity as well. So really, from sixth down to 10th, those places still yet to be decided. And then 11th versus 12th, can Bravo Snow Shatten maybe pick any more points, or could Magnum hold on to 11th? All to be decided. In terms of the weather this afternoon, after the rain and chaos caused in Malaysia, a little bit more straightforward. The focus very much on track as we have clear skies throughout qualifying and race. So, the qualifying session has just begun, 15 minutes. Everyone is just coming around on their outlaps now. We have representation in every single team today. This should be a very interesting one indeed. And we're going to have a little bit of a challenge on our hands this afternoon, as many teams have brought special liveries. And to keep within the theme of us being in Japan, most of those special liveries use many of the same colour schemes. So as you can see, they're usually black and gold. Vanguard Engineering are white, red and black today. Pascal Polens currently leading round to start his first flying lap. And we go on board for a lap of the Suzuka circuit. So, turns 1 and 2, groups known collectively as the first turn. Two fast sweeping right-handers before moving into turns 3 to 7, collectively known as the S-curves. All about car positioning, trying to carry as much speed as possible before 7th and final turn, the Dunlop curve going up over the hill. We approach the end of Sector 1, which brings us to turns 8 and 9, the Degners, through Degner 1, and then down through the gears, under the bridge, on the exit of Degner 2. Turn 10 is a little kink towards turn 11, the hairpin. And looking nice and tidy through there, just correcting a little bit of a power slide on the exit. Then the long turn 12 leads us into turns 13 and 14, collectively known as Spoon. Out to the curb on the outside, clip the apex on the inside, and then back end to the exit curb. And then powering towards turn 15, better known as 130R. See if it's flat for Pascal Polens. It is. And then we head towards the final complex of corners, the Casio triangle, the final chicane. Oof, and I'm carrying a lot of speed in there. Not the tidiest of entries. Polens hugs the wall and sets a benchmark of 1 minute 28.2. La Flamme just behind 3 tenths, close to 4 tenths. Now here comes Misha Smith. Another look at another special livery this afternoon. The usually orange Holland Racing team. A bit more sunblush and up to third. And also you'll see he's just gone ahead of a new driver, a debutant for Holland Racing team, Pessi Mikkonen, who has shown really promising pace in the build-up to this. So this could be a really interesting debutant to watch this afternoon. And as you can see, literally just a few hundredths of a second behind his teammate. Currently faster than Yannis Volborn. In the meantime, Philip pushed up to second. SCMM looking really strong around here this afternoon. In the meantime, here comes the man who could win his first title today, Lucas Murno, for Scuderia Cesario. Go through 130R. See how his entry is into the Casio triangle. It's like a much tidier entry indeed. Only a matter of hundredths down over the course of the first 2 sectors. The final sector is purple, but it's not quite enough. Only 6 hundredths between him and Polens. This could be a really close fight between multiple people for pole position.
Yeah, and this is interesting because of ahead of the session, Philip Pushka was tipped to be the favorite here for pole position and a very strong contender in the race, as well as straight line speed is not that important around this track, and this is the area that SCMO has always been lacking a bit this season. So yeah, a bit of a surprise right now because we expected Pushka to be much closer to Polens and Murno.
Yeah, absolutely. But obviously everyone just getting their first laps in. The track will rubber in and develop. And we have seen drivers in the past be a little bit tactical and hold something back for their final runs. In the meantime, Daniel Benton Reader back behind the wheel of a Better Julia after missing the last race.
And he will be doing so for the foreseeable future, as his contract at Better Julia has just been extended through 2027 even. So we will see him in that car for a long time to go.
Absolutely, and conversely, someone we won't see in that car in the future is his regular teammate Maximilian Jaeger. But Jaeger is staying with the team. There was really positive things said about his team spirit and the way he works. He's going to move to a sporting director role at Better Julia. So I imagine still seeing him on race days, potentially helping with strategy and potentially future driver management as well. In the meantime, Denny Bella, Lucky Hamish Racing, had a really strong outing last time in Malaysia, qualifying 4th and finishing 6th in the race. And he's got a little bit of an awkward one there because these two clearly both on flying laps and neither wanting to yield. And there's an unfortunate race up to 130R.
Yeah, I think Benton Reader had to lift ahead of 130R because he was getting way too close to, I think that was Philip Pushka he was battling with. No, it was actually Gigiano, and he abandons this lap.
They both abandon
pits.
it.
Yeah.
I think they've both ruined each other's laps essentially there. In the meantime, Pascal Poland's going 0.2 quicker than his own first sector. This is a really promising start as he looks to find a little bit more pace. He's got to take the fight to Lucas Murno this afternoon. Reminder again, if Lucas Murno outscores Poland's, it is all over, and Poland's has to outscore Murno by at least 2 points. So, if he were to win and for Murno to finish second, the championship would still go to Brazil, but he would require quite a big point swing of 14 points in that final race. So if anything, he is hoping for Murno to slip up, and he can hopefully gain more than just the 2 points required this afternoon.
Then again, maybe a bit of a sign of encouragement for Pascal Poland. Last year, it was a DNF in the last 2 races of the season for Lucas Murno, both in Brazil and Japan. And also in 2023, his home race for Lucas Murno hasn't been the strongest. So yeah, it's not over till it's over.
Indeed, and a very good point there by Max Heyman, Cesario team boss in the chat there. Obviously, SCMM were the most recent team of those top teams to bring an engine upgrade. So with the newest engine in there and a raft of upgrades for this race, Filip Puška is the man to be, obviously coupled with this circuit being more to their style. As you can see, the middle sector there behind, because that is the most straight line, flat out sections of the circuit in the middle sector. However, sectors 1 and 3, he should do quite well. Let's see how close he gets. Is it going to be enough to go on pole? No, 0.06 of a second between him and Poland's. And actually quite a slow final sector.
Yeah, this is interesting because the final sector pretty much is only the Casio triangle. Is the only proper corner that is in there. So he must have lost a lot of time there.
Now, something to note when we're on the subject of engine penalties, obviously we're noting the pace of newcomer Pessi Mikkonen, currently 4th in that HRT, but he will have to serve a 10-place grid penalty immediately because that car has a new engine in it. It was served last time by Misha Smith, but they only ran 1 car in Malaysia, so that penalty has been waiting for whoever was to step in the first Holland Racing Team car. So Mikkonen at the minute will be starting outside the top 10, but is doing a good job with the car, at least to minimise that. And yeah, 4th on pace, currently ahead of his teammate, ahead of Peckley and Laflamme. Really good pace from him. In the meantime, Gino Gajano, the only driver yet to set a time, this time surely going to finish his lap. No traffic as he heads up to the Casio Triangle. It's very neatly taken. The SCMM team boss head towards the light, and it's up to 8th for him. So a solid lap for Gino Gajano. In the meantime,
go ahead.
I was going to say, yeah, we're much the same as you, Vitaly Kambrov, who has appeared twice before for Lucky Hamish and has been a very eventful appearance on both occasions so far. Back in again today.
And he can play quite a crucial role, as you said at the beginning of the stream, that Lucky Hamish is fighting to hold on for P6 in the Constructors' Championship, and they do need 2 cars, and that is a great effort by Vitaly Kambarov, who put it 4th, just 4/10 behind. Oh, and this is Paulo Villami apparently having some connection issues, because we often see that happen if there is some poor connection. I think he has disconnected.
Yeah, he's gone. Hope he can get back in before the end of the session. But I do think that means he won't be able to come back out on track to improve his time. Am I right in saying that?
I think so, yeah. Also, he's getting tight on time as well. So you may already see people preparing for their last run in this qualifying session. Also, Yannis Wilborn, not too strong of an effort so far. We usually, even in the Velocita, see him in close to the top 10 right now.
Oh, Cesare without a wing. Oh, and that's Cesare that's just dived out of the way because of that. I think, has put Yannis Volborn off, so he's going to have to get in, change tyres and go back out for one final lap. See if he can get himself in the top 10. His qualifying record with Velocita so far has been very strong. 5th place and 9th place in his 2 appearances so far. 9th currently occupied by Diogo Meneghetti.
Also, Danny Weller struggling in this qualifying session. 21st, this is not where he's used to be. We saw him get tangled up with Giuliano that one lap, and this is a bit of an improvement, but only P15.
Yeah, I was expecting maybe a little bit higher from him. In the meantime, Laflamme, is he going to carry on this lap? No, he's going to duck in the pits. And I think with just over 2 minutes to go, everyone is now going to rear themselves up for a final run. In the meantime, Pessi Mikkonen, 0.05 of a second up from Sector 1, out of Spoon Curve. I'm going to go under the bridge and break the timing line for Sector 2.
And he gets a tow.
And he's only 0.08 of a second down. This is an incredible performance from the newcomer. And through the final chicane, don't think that would have slowed him up too much. A little bit of a snap of the wheel spin. He had to correct. Lost a lot of time in that final sector. That could have been so much closer. Currently P5, but as mentioned, 10th-place engine penalty. In the meantime, Pushka, 2/10 up in the first sector, but down in that middle sector where the most full throttle running is. He's got to nail it through the Casio triangle. It's maybe a little minuscule toll from the Potenza, but towards the line, it's still not enough. It's down to 0.03 of a second. Is Pushka going to try and stay out and push for one more lap while he's on track with a minute to go? Murno, though, purple in the first sector. This is Spoon now on the exit of Spoon. So vital for him today. And it's purple in the middle sector as well. This could be a huge, huge lap, Lucas Murno. Just the final chicane to go. Nicely taken. Up through the gears, towards the line. It's provisional pole by 0.03 of a second. Poland's, though, has timed it to perfection. He's just starting his final lap with 20 seconds to go. He's got a chance to take it off. He's going to hope for a clear run now as he powers into turn 1. As the clock runs down, also keep an eye on Pushka. He may have gone to another flying lap as well. And he has, and he's purple in the first sector. Not as high up as he was on the previous lap. It's going to be all about how much time he loses over these final 2 sectors, and he's 0.3 down. I don't think it's going to be an improvement, and he's going to hit traffic at the worst possible time. I think that's going to be it for Filip Pushka. No improvement.
He's backed out already.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. In the meantime, Poland's up by 0.09 of a second through Sector 1. This is a vital, vital lap him. Now, Murno might have kept his foot in it and might be going for it again as well. But obviously, his tyres won't be quite as fresh. But it all looks under controlled through Spoon. Towards the end of Sector 2. It's up by 0.2 of a second. Pascal Poland's just has to take this final chicane, and he could be back on pole for a vital race. He again flies into the Casio triangle, but carries that momentum through towards the line. Is it pole? It is by 0.4 of a second. Laflamme improves to 4th, just behind him. Where is Murno? Here comes Yannis Volborn. He's down in 19th. It's going to be an improvement at the death for him. How far up the grid? It's only up to 14th. It's his worst qualifying for Velocita so far. But definitely don't count him out of the race. Never count out Yannis Volborn. And I think that might be everyone's flying laps done. Pascal Poland's has pole at a vital, vital moment in the fight for the championship. And that's part 1 of keeping his title chances alive. Well and truly done. He is on provisional pole.
With what a lap. 0.4 seconds. Incredible.
and we were expecting it to be close between all of them with Pushka to have the edge, but Poland's blows them out of the water, 4/10 clear of Murno, 4/10 clear of Pushka, half a second clear of his own teammate. Look at how closely grouped Murno, Pushka and Laflamme are. Poland's with an outstanding lap at the right moment, but Murno and Pushka will certainly not be looking at leaving him alone. It's a great performance from Vitaly Kambarov in fifth for Lucky Hamish Racing. Pessi Mikkonen, a great performance for him, but he will take that 10th-place grid penalty due to the new engine. Gabriel Peckley is seventh. Misha Smith is eighth. Diogo Meneghetti is ninth, but he will also take a 10th-place grid penalty. Both the Potenza cars have taken a new engine this weekend as well, with Gino Gagliano rounding out the top 10 in the times. Both United Racing Club cars together. It's a solid lap in the end for Paolo Villami, despite that disconnect. So 13th ahead of Yanis Volborn in the Velocita. Machado, again, as mentioned, will take a 10th-place grid penalty, being in Potenza. Harley Self is out there for Magnum Motorsports today in 16th ahead of Denny Vella. Daniel Benton Reader is just ahead of Jean Polaro with teammate Jesus Alejandro Chirino just behind. Gustavo Frigoto is 21st with Jendrik Beerhoff in the Velocita, bringing up the rear of the grid. So we will have a short break as the drivers have a warm-up, and then it will be lights out in Suzuka. Will both titles be decided today, or will they go down to the wire? We'll find out very soon. Hello and welcome back to the 15th and penultimate round of the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship 2025, where both championships could be decided today. The race is just about to start in a few moments as we see the end of warm-up, but before we go back, it's just a little quick announcement from me, as today is my final race commentating on the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship. I commentated on the first race with Robin back in 2023 in Australia, and since then have commentated on, I'd say, comfortably over 3/4 of all the races that have happened, and followed all of the drivers, teams, the stories that have developed, seen the champions, winners, and losers is a harsh word, but unfortunately, if there are winners, there are also losers as well, and it's been an absolute pleasure to see. Basically, my commitments on a Sunday are such that I'm not able to continue and commentate, but this isn't a complete goodbye. If I have availability and people need a stand-in future, or if my commitments were to change in the future, I may very much will be back, but I'll also very much be still following the series and seeing how it grows and moves, because it's such a unique concept, and it's such a great thing in terms of building all the narratives and the stories, and not just the drivers, but also the team bosses and everything that goes on behind the scenes. We have our own silly season which we report on. It's building this whole world, much like the reasons that many of us follow Formula One. It's not just about what happens on track, it's about everything that goes with it, and the development race and the changes and the things that kind of can affect and manipulate. And what's being built here is really exciting, and I'm going to be continuing to follow it in the future, even if I'm not going to be here talking about it. I would like to thank everyone in WMSC, especially the admins, particularly Michael Cosbow, Gina Gajano, Kevin Peters, Yanis Volborn, Pascal Polans, and also, of course, a big thank you to our stream producer Dennis. I know he doesn't like his name being mentioned, but he absolutely deserves a momentary spotlight, because the work he does to make these streams look so good. He honestly does it so calm. You'd think he's a team of like 3 people at least, and he's just one person. Pulls everything together so beautifully. And of course, last but not least, thank you to Robin as well. It's been a pleasure working with you throughout these past 3 seasons. I'm sure we'll work together on other stuff as well in the future. But yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I've really enjoyed it. And I want to thank you all for having me. It's been a lot of fun indeed.
Yeah, thank you, Ash. And I think we can all just give that back. It's been great working alongside you for these 3 years that we've been doing this now. It was great working together with you, and I think we'll have a couple of minutes as well at the end of this stream. But let me just say, it was a pleasure these 3 years. Very much looking forward to everything you will do or we will do together in the future. And of course, for this final race that we will do together in commentary. So let's have a good final one here.
Absolutely, thank you very much. Yeah, it's been a pleasure, and hopefully we'll have another interesting race this afternoon to bow out on. There is a selfish part of me that would love to see chat titles decided and drama, but then also for the wider series, we've never seen both titles go to the final round, so there's kind of a little bit of, I'm conflicted about what I'd like to see happen this afternoon. But as long as it's a good race, which I'm sure it will be, we'll have a good one. And to take the spotlight off myself, I'm going to do the obligatory hospital pass now, Robin. What do you think's going to happen this afternoon at Suzuka?
After seeing that lap from Pascal Polans, I think he will take the win, and therefore the title fight will go on to Brazil, even if it's only mathematically. But that lap was a statement at the end of qualifying, and I think Pascal will do everything in his power to take this one to Brazil.
I think that's a really good point.
We will wait for Daniel to rejoin the server.
Interested
so one moment,
to see what Philip Pushka can do, because obviously his car is very strong around this circuit, and maybe he just didn't put the lap together that he was expecting at the right moment. So I still think Philip Pushka could, even though he's mathematically still in the championship, I think unless both his title rivals have an absolute nightmare today, he will likely not be in the fight by the time things head to Brazil. But he could still be very much a spanner in the works and could still very much be a race win this afternoon. So I'll be interested to see how it goes. Cesario team boss Max Heyman putting a very good point in the chat about it could be interesting in terms of strategy, with the undercut being very effective. So obviously, if those top three lead away and Murno and Pushka are tucked right behind Poland's and Poland's can't build the gap, then yeah, the timing of those pit stops could be very interesting to see if anyone tries to pull a cheeky undercut. Because I believe you got some information from Kevin Peters about like the overtaking around Suzuka.
Yeah, I do. I've talked with him before this race, and he said that overtaking will be quite challenging, and he reckons that you need at least to be 1 second quicker than the car ahead to be able to try anything. Of course, this depends also in which car you are and how much speed you have on a straight line. We've seen that throughout this season. So in an SCMM, pulling an overtake will be much more difficult than, say, a Vanguard, for example. But yeah, of course, with these tire strategies and new tires making that much of a difference, as Max has pointed out in the chat, I think we might see a good old school strategic battle here today.
Yeah, I think so, because obviously Suzuka, is famously quite difficult for making moves. It's not just the WMSC issue; it is very much a problem with just a challenge of the circuit, if you like. So yeah, they'll be thinking quite a lot about the strategy this afternoon. And to be honest, I think that also does put it in Vanguard's favour, because Vanguard have been very good at their strategies throughout this season. So assuming that Pascal Poland's has had time to prepare, he usually is on top of those strategies. And we know how competitive Kevin Peters is as a team boss as well. So they might be quite well drilled. I think they'll be very well prepared. It's what can Cesario and SCMM throw at them? And we've just had a call from race control. 1 minute to race start. We're just waiting for a driver to rejoin the server. We will jump over in a second, and then we will see the starting grid, and it will be lights out for what could be a definitive race this season. Obviously, we've talked a little bit about what might happen in the drivers. In terms of the constructors, I think Vanguard still might seal that this afternoon. So a reminder, Cesario need to outscore Vanguard by 8 points or Vanguard will win. And I think, Axel Flam has been a really solid number 2 driver for that team this season. Obviously a race winner as well, multiple pole positions. I think he's only DNF'd once, if I remember off the top of my head. I think, only DNF'd once. Every other time has finished in the points, with his lowest finish being 7th. So he's done a really good job of making sure, backing up his teammate there, and they could get it done this afternoon. In the meantime, we jump into the race session. Let's have a look at the starting grid for this race at Suzuka. Pascal Poland's on pole by 0.4 of a second from Lucas Murno. Philip Pushka in third, with Axel Flam and the other Vanguard Engineering in fourth. Row 3, Vitaly Kambrov is alongside Misha Smith, with Gino Gajano and Arug Curtis on row 4. His United Racing Club teammate is just next to him in 9th, with Gabriel Peckley serving a 3-place grid penalty in 10th. Paolo Alami and Yanis Volborn are on row 6. Harley Self and Danny Vela just behind them, with Daniel Benton Reedon alongside Pessi Mekinen. Mekinen having a 10-place grid penalty, so a fine qualifying performance from him on his debut. Jean Polaro and Jesus Alejandro Chirino on row 9, with Meneghetti serving a 10-place grid penalty and Fragoto there. Beerhoff and Machado bringing up the order, but the revs go up, the lights go on, and off they go, and we are underway in Suzuka, Japan. And Poland has got the perfect getaway as we head down into turn 1. It's Poland's from Murno, from Pushka, from the Flam. Everyone's through. Seemingly okay, I think, there. And we get single file into the S's side by side, though, further down the order between those two. And oh, we do have one car with our wing. It's an Infernal Void. That looks like Beerhoff into the wall. Oh, careful, Beerhoff. That could be a... I know it might not be Beerhoff. Sorry, it's John Palauro, I think. And something has happened to Sherino and Rustemeyer as they're a long way back down. Oh, Palauro's going to struggle there. I wonder what happened to these two. Well, we've got a missing front wing there, and clearly Rustemeyer has gotten caught in something there. So these three struggling. In the meantime, back up the front, Murno has got his work cut out. Poland has already managed to open the gap about 0.7 of a second. Pushka just behind. Remember, the dirty air is a problem through the twistier sections, so they might have to back off and not sit too close under the rear wing of the car ahead. For Pascal Poland's, a pretty much textbook start there. While Murno isn't in position to win the championship, it's no reason to panic from where he is now, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, if you can stay with him, there's always the chance for an undercut. And even if Poland wins this, Murno will still have a healthy lead going into the season finale, where then he's in a situation where he just needs to score a couple of points, no matter what Poland does, and will still win the championship. But of course, if he can, he would like to seal it today.
Absolutely. Now we've got Bella, Beerhoff and Frigoto in the pits as well. So I think a few people may have collected each other and picked up some damage. Palauro and Torino still obviously fighting with their damage and trying to get round and get into pits themselves. Rustemeyer, by the looks of it, has stayed out. So whatever incident he was caught up in, he seems to be still carrying on okay.
Yeah, and I wonder what happened, and if that might have even happened ahead of turn one, because we all saw them go through turn one cleanly, and Rustemeyer and Sherino were already a long way back. But then again, Sherino and Palauro, they started right alongside each other, 17th and 18th, and one was missing a rear wing, one was missing a front wing, so maybe there was a coming together between the two of them. But if we have the opportunity, and if we have that somewhere, I'm sure we'll get a replay of that situation at the start.
Absolutely, and just commenting on other winners and losers from the start, Mikkonen has just gotten ahead of Yannis Volborn. Mikkonen and Volborn, both really strong starts, and Mikkonen is now overtaking Yannis Volborn. Gabriel Peckley, I was about to mention, dropped down the order to 16th and is now showing as DNF. It's surely not another disconnect for Gabriel Peckley 2 weeks in a row, but even before then, something had happened to him and he'd fallen right down the order as well. So yeah, some big switches of positions there in these early laps. And we will get something of an idea. Oh, here we go. Yes, there it is. So underway we go. So keeping an eye out for Dominic Rustemeyer as we head down into turn one. He's on the outside, or one car wide out the back. Oh, and he just kind of gets bumped round. So it's a very... Oh my goodness, there's a few big hits there up ahead. An absolute mess. Rustemeyer just kind of gets bumped out of the way on the exit of turn two and then just kind of stays clear and then has to slowly spin his car around and get going again.
Yeah, so it was all a bit of a chain reaction there. And Danny Weller has just received a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. So he might have been involved in there as well because he was also in the pits. Maybe Race Control has deemed him the source of all of this trouble.
Oh my goodness.
As there is a great battle between Misha Smith and Aaron Curtis.
No, that's Mikkonen. That's Mikkonen trying to overtake Curtis.
Incredible, it is, and now he's made it. Mikkonen from 16th to 7th in 3 laps. Incredible. What a debut.
Oh, let's hope he can keep going and see it through, but what an incredible start. Coming from that engine penalty, and he's going to make the most of it, it seems. A fresh engine. He's absolutely flying and is now trying to hunt down his teammate ahead of Aaron Curtis. Volborn into the points again for Velocita. Vital for them in their kind of Constructors' Championship fight. Now, here is Gabriel Peckley. Let's see what happened here. We're approaching the hairpin. And Peckley just kind of has a spin out there. Did wheel on the grass and spins it. And then does get going again. Does he just stop?
He's back in the session, I saw. I mean, this may be the first one where he dropped down the order, and it already looked a bit weird, and then all of a sudden...
Is that partially hardware causing problems there? I'm not sure. It's a very odd accident for Gabriel Peckley as well.
Bierhoff is shown as DNF now. Peckley's back in the session, but 2 laps down.
So whether he's left to maybe fix a hardware problem, or he's disconnected after that spin, because yeah, it does seem like quite an odd spin for Gabriel Peckley, and he took him a long time to get going. So that does make me think that maybe there was hardware and he's left to reset something. But yeah, a bit of an odd one. In the meantime, Harley Self, who has looked so promising every time he's driven for Magnum this season, but has usually had something come in the way, fighting to maybe get in the points. 12th taking down Diogo Meneghetti. Here's Jendrik Bierhoff, missing both a front and a rear wing, into the pits. And is this just to call it a day for Jendrik Bierhoff? It might be.
Yeah, I presume so.
Thank you. Thank you, Felipe, in the chat. An FPS glitch for Peckley. So, yeah, he has essentially left the game and rejoined to fix that issue. So that's possibly why we saw what we saw.
Yeah, that explains it. Okay. But that definitely means that this is... Yeah. Vanguard's big opportunity with only one Cesario in the points right now. And both Vanguards in the top 5. This is enough at the moment to seal the Constructors' Championship in their favor. Vitaly Kambarov still running in 5th, pretty much unopposed, and close to the flam of what the gaps are suggesting. And Mikkonen is catching up to his teammate Misha Smith.
This is really interesting. Kambarov has, raced twice, DNF twice, but in both races showed pace and potential to score points. This afternoon, great qualifying, has kept clean, and this is a really promising start. So if Kambarov can stay clean, what a result that would be. And then, obviously Mikkonen, another live wire newcomer, looking incredibly quick indeed. And honestly, if he can get past his teammate in Kambarov, where does it stop? How much closer can he reel in the cars ahead? This could be fascinating to see.
Yeah, absolutely. This will be one of the stories of the afternoon, to see where Pasi Mikkonen can finish this race. But also, back on the topic of Vitaly Kambarov, what I found curious in qualifying already is Kambarov managed to put the Lucky Hamish on 5th on the grid, whereas his very experienced teammate, one of the most experienced drivers in WMSC, Danny Weller, only managed 14th in qualifying. And Weller, well, he has that 5-second penalty, was involved in an incident at the start. He's only in 16th, so the fate of Lucky Hamish this afternoon might rely on Vitaly Kambarov.
Yeah, and it's really interesting because obviously just last week, Denny Vella himself qualified 6th and finished 4th. Hang on, have I got that backwards? Let me just double check. Other way around, qualified 4th and finished 6th. I thought 4th place finish was quite high in the end. But even still, great results for him. And yeah, this afternoon, it's almost like they've switched cars. It's very strange. But Vella currently struggling, and with the penalty, Kambarov driving very well indeed. And Kambarov is now closing in on Axel Flam. He is getting very, very close. that vanguard and may even have a look at the move. But then you think, just 2 seconds behind, you've got Smith and Mikkonen charging.
And Laflamme just had a moment. There might be an opportunity for Vitaly Kambarov towards 130R.
Oh, and and I was about to say Kambarov he's not afraid of getting elbows out as Laflamme goes wide. Laflamme tries to move back on. I feel like Laflamme maybe got elbows out there because he felt a bit aggrieved that Kambarov tried to drive into a gap that was just not there. Yeah, this is the thing. Kambarov is very lively, to say the least. So he's going to try and go for this, and that's well defended into one by Laflamme, and that's going to bring Misha Smith even closer. And the longer they keep fighting, keep an eye out for Mikkonen as well. In terms of tyres, everyone in the top 10 is currently on the hard tyre apart from Misha Smith, who's on the medium. So everyone in that top 10 has gone for a longer running tyre. They have to use two different compounds of the 3 in a dry race, which we're expecting. So, the hards out of the way. Smith on the mediums. And here comes Mikkonen. Very slowly reeling in his teammate. And obviously, when you can see the 2 guys fighting ahead, which will soon become 3, and 3 then may very quickly become 4. Join Mikkonen towards 130R. Completely flat, very tidy through there. And interestingly now, it seems like Kambarov might have had a moment. Oh, I wonder if Kambarov and Laflamme have had some exchanges up to 130R, because Kambarov is now having to defend from Misha Smith. Kambarov on the inside into turn 1. And Smith thinks better of that, but he's tucked right up behind the Lucky Hamish now. And I wonder if Laflamme and Kambarov maybe resumed their battle. I feel like the run out of Spoon towards 130R and the run into turn 1 are the only places to really make a move around this circuit.
Yeah, maybe even into the Casio Triangle if you somehow manage to get side by side through 130R. But that, pretty much is it. In the past, we've seen a couple of daring moves into the hairpin as well. Most of them actually came from Kamui Kobayashi when he was still competing there. This was his place to make an overtake. Suzuka really, as you said, not the greatest track for racing or overtaking, but strategy is key around here. And luckily, we're not expecting one of those boring one-stop races where everyone is on the same strategy. I think we'll see some quite varied strategies today.
Indeed.
Oh, Pisano. Penalty.
No announcement from race control handed out by the game, which suggested is either pit lane speeding, which I don't think he's been in the pits, so that means track limits potentially. Gino Gajano. There were issues with track limits penalties getting handed out a bit too readily in Abu Dhabi, so we'll see if that one gets rescinded or appealed. Oh, and
change of position.
And it's an orchestrated change. Mikkonen has been allowed to go past Smith. That's really interesting, considering Smith is on the more aggressive tyre as well.
Or did Smith maybe have an issue? We came to this very, very late. There might have also been Smith was battling with Kambarov earlier, and this was just past turn 1, if I remember that one correctly. So there might have been a bit of a coming together, and Kambarov was very close to Laflamme there, and he was at the hairpin. Look at that.
Yeah, this is it. When Kambarov is involved, there is a chance that there has been some, I would say, abrasive racing going on. So yeah, there is a chance that maybe Smith has lost some time, maybe trying to make a move through turn 1, has run out of road. But Mikkonen is through. Have a little look. Oh, here's Misha Smith. Ah, no. Oh, well. No. It looks orchestrated.
It does. It does.
Interesting. Well, Misha Smith waves through newcomer Pessi Mikkonen. And,
Member of DNF.
oh, oh!
Oh, that's a shame.
Has he just disconnected? It doesn't seem like anyone else has lost lots of time and positions.
Oh, that is trademark disconnect. Inexplicable DNF. And that promotes Pasi Mikkonen, another position, and he is now chasing Axel Flam. I tell you what, if any one of those top three has an issue of some sort this race, Mikkonen might be fighting for a podium on debut.
Yeah, this is quite remarkable. We've seen drivers kind of come in and show pace and show promise, but so far he's doing it like he's not got caught up in any nonsense. He's made some good moves. He's survived the early fight. This is really impressive stuff from Pessi Mikkonen. In the meantime, Yannis Volborn up into 8th and clearly trying to find a way past Aaron Curtis. And a little bit of a cork in the bottle. It's Curtis from Volborn, from Meneghetti, from Gajano. And it's been this way for a little while as Gajano seems a little bit slow on the exit of Spoon, kind of falling off the back of this pack now. But yeah, Yannis Volborn, what can he do? Is he going to have to wait for an overcut? Because at the minute it seems like he's struggling to find a way past. He's got a good run out the final turn. We head down to turn 1. I feel like the straight just isn't quite long enough, tucked up behind the rear wing, but nothing doing this time.
Yeah, this is the thing also about turn 1. You need to be properly alongside to actually make that move, because turn 1 isn't really a heavy braking zone. As now, a bit under pressure there from Diogo Meneghetti, who also had a very good race so far. He qualified 9th, had that 10-place grid penalty for a new engine, but he's back in P9. And right now, he's challenging the still reigning WMSC champion.
Yes, exactly. Volborn still champion and might not lose it today, considering how things are up the front. But yeah, maybe just being so close to Aaron Curtis's United Racing Club car through Sector 1. The S's, the dirty air, maybe kind of throwing him off balance. Diogo Meneghetti also picks up a game penalty as well. And Meneghetti was in shot then, so I'm not sure when he's picked that up. Is that going wide through Spoon, perhaps?
I don't know. I actually was checking the constructors' championship standing, because there might also be some interesting permutations between the battle between Wilborn and Machado, but Meneghetti. I'm sorry, but it might be. We haven't heard from Gajano either. He hasn't served his penalty yet.
No.
But we also didn't hear from race control that the penalty had been lifted, like we did at Abu Dhabi a couple of times. Benton Reader has just come into the pit lane.
And interestingly, he's on the medium tyres, and he switched to the hard. So this might be an indication of how long the mediums last. Obviously, Suzuka can be quite hard on the tyres, especially with the amount of lateral Gs you're pulling through Sector 1. So Benton Reader onto the hards. The only other person ahead of him on the mediums, as mentioned, is Misha Smith. So it'll be interesting to see how long Smith is out there before coming in himself to switch onto a hard tyre. I don't think, it seems very unlikely we're going to see the soft tyre in the race, if that is the case.
Yeah, no, it absolutely isn't. Especially since pretty much the hard is the tyre to be on in the race. But Misha Smith's lap time, well, has he been in the pits or has he dropped massively from his teammate?
I think
Misha
he might
Smith.
have dropped. Yeah, I think there was a bit of a delay on the timing sheet there. I think he's just been in and done the same thing
Okay.
himself. He is also on the hard tyre. There he's in 10th. Yeah, he's just had a pit stop himself. So yeah, so only about 13, 14 laps for the medium tyre then. So I think most people will be sticking to the hard tyre. So it might be a case of when do they get the medium stint out of the way? Immediately, though, Smith onto the back of this run of cars that has kind of been stuck in behind Aaron Curtis. Can Misha Smith have better luck? He's immediately trying to kind of force his way past Gino Gajano. They go side by side into the hairpin. Oh, brilliantly done, but he does make contact. Oh, and he's knocked Miniguetti out the way, and I think that might be a penalty there for Misha Smith. Almost so close to a brilliant move, but just that contact, and I think he's not going to want to really give that place back. He might have to suffer a penalty there.
Yeah, I guess 5-second penalty is what we can expect from this tap around there. Yeah, this has not worked out at all for him, coming out just behind that gaggle of cars. And this is interesting, Axel Flam is in. He started on the hards, and he's already stopping. So maybe yeah. There we go. 5-second penalty issued for Misha Smith, and there comes LaFlamme out of the pit lane, and he just stays ahead of this group of cars that is led by Aaron Curtis. Oh, and now Walborn runs wide, and Misha Smith says thank you very much into turn one. Nothing he needed to do much, and look at that. He's almost pushing Curtis around the S's there. Needs to be careful not to get too close, otherwise he might.
Oh my God! I mean, he's in very much in an impatient mood, and he isn't put off by the fact he's just had a 5-second time penalty. But you can see how much quicker he is, and this is the thing. We know how skilled of a driver Yannis Volborn is, but obviously the performance issues in that Velocita are making it really difficult for him to make that move on Aaron Curtis. Whereas the HRT, which is arguably the fourth best car out there, and on some days has looked even better than maybe even the SCMM.
Oh, Poland's in from the race lead.
So easy. Oh no, and quite right too. So even the hard tyres are struggling after just like 14, 15 laps. And I think it looks like a straight swap into hards again, unless there's a graphical change. It looks like Poland has stayed on the hards. How interesting. The hards and the mediums almost having a similar lifespan. Poland's, though, making sure he's not getting undercut. I mentioned how powerful that might be, and he's making sure that that's not the case for him this afternoon. Do Murno and Pushka respond straight away, or do they try and extend here? What do they do to try and make something happen?
Yeah, this is interesting. It might not have been. It might have also been a choice from Vanguard to do this to lure Murno and Pushka, or to force their hand into anything. Because this is quite unusual for the hards to last as long as the mediums only. And it's interesting that both Vanguards did it, but we haven't seen anyone else on the hard tires come in so far. This is Lucas Murno. Let's see what he does. Whether he stays out or continues on these hards. He does stay out. Pushka does the same. He's just behind, just 1 second the gap at the moment.
Oh, and we have a slow car going into the hairpin with no front wing. Peckley, in the meantime, stopping for mediums, recovering after that FPS issue. Still behind Chirino, who's also DNF. Volborn has a penalty. I think track limits are causing issues for people this afternoon. No penalties handed out by the game have been rescinded. And interestingly, again, it's just coming out of Spoon. That's where we saw Meneghetti pick up one. I think the exit of Spoon, or at some part through Spoon, is is tagging them for track limits, and I think it's catching people out, but that is a big one. So both Volborn and Meneghetti, who are on your screen now running 8 and 9, both have track limits penalties. Now, interestingly, no one's been in to serve. I wonder if race control are rescinding them and just not saying so, because Gajano's not been in. In fact, Gajano's in the pits now, and I'd wager this is actually just going to be a tyre stop. Let's see. Gino Gajano, SCMM, in from 11th. Oh, and actually, he's not, because he was the car without a front wing by the looks of it. So that's why he's in the pits. So I think these penalties being handed out by the game for track limits are being rescinded, because this is the first time we've seen Gino Gajano go in the pits all afternoon. As you can see, he's getting his damage repaired and he is falling down the order. And only just comes out on the lead lap, but he's going to have to duck out of the way. Actually, no, he's not on the lead lap. In fact, with Murno still ahead, Pushka is closing in to Murno through sector 1. Interesting fight soon, though. Poland's is catching up to Mikkonen.
What is it? Wheel on the gravel there.
Big moment coming into Degner too. Does well to hold it. And a little bit of respite. But yeah, Mikkonen and Poland's are together on the road now. And that's going to be interesting. How much hard work is it going to be for Poland's to make a move past this newcomer? In the meantime, Filip Pushka has just over a second to try and reel in. Palaro with a penalty. Oh, and Palaro's just been given a drive-through for blue flags. So that's bound to worse for him. In the meantime, Poland's is past Mikkonen. So not too much hard work from there. In the meantime, Yannis Volborn is still stuck behind Aaron Curtis with Meneghetti in tow.
And we have another sudden DNF. Harley Self is shown as DNF now.
Deary me, we are having some really bad issues with connection, it seems, this afternoon. And again, Self, with an outside chance of points for Magnum, has his afternoon very much interrupted. In the meantime, Volborn is having to go defensive. From Meneghetti, leaves the space on the inside respectfully, but just manages to hang on. And Meneghetti is going to push now. He's going to have the run towards turn 1. Tries to break the toe. Volborn to the extreme inside. Meneghetti moves out. Volborn defends. Curtis can continue on for now. Volborn trying to wring the neck every little bit of performance out of that Velocita.
I just had confirmation from race control that the penalties have been taken back that were issued from the game for track limits. So Giugiano, Volborn and Meneghetti, who had received penalties, and I think, yeah, this is now Meneghetti too. And Machado is quite close in the background there as well. As Volborn had a bit of a moment there out of Degner too.
So it's interesting now. So obviously Poland's is now shutting the gap with Clear ahead of him on these fresh hards. And I think it was a really good timing to get them both out, because then they weren't going to get stuck behind, this queue of cars behind Aaron Curtis. So from that perspective, it's good. But obviously it puts them off sequence with everyone else, because they've obviously gone in before the hard tyres have completely been used up. So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out later on in the race. Because for now it looks good for them, but obviously there's going to be a big tyre offset later on in favour of the two men you are seeing on screen right now. So interesting to see how that pans out. Palaro was also DNF'd as well.
therefore, it is probably a good choice from Gabriel Peckley to rejoin this session as Pushka almost runs into the back of Lucas Murno there, into the Casio triangle. And that might have been a dramatic moment. Murno into the pits, Pushka stays out. And that may just have put Poland's back in the championship fight if these two would have come together there.
Really? Like the downforce on the SCMM. Oh, and Mahado has been given a 5-second time penalty for causing collision against Vanis Volborn. Volborn's in 11th.
Wilborn has been in the pits though, but I saw that Machado somewhere maybe passed Wilborn, and Wilborn dropped quite a lot, and Peckley has come into the pits to retire the car.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder if those FPS problems have persisted. Because obviously if he kept going, he'd have gotten up to 17th from the other people DNFing. He'd still be 4 laps down, which obviously is a long, long way indeed. But yeah, maybe those issues just were not going away, and he's had to call it an afternoon. In the meantime, Janis Volborn now outside the points. As you mentioned, though, has at least completed his stop. And there's people ahead who still have yet to stop. In fact, you're looking at 2 of them on screen right now. But yeah, Mahado with a 5-second time penalty for some collision that has knocked Volborn down a little bit. And you can see Meneghetti. Can he try and find a way past Aaron Curtis? Volborn certainly couldn't. See how close he is through the hairpin. The acceleration of the United Racing Club car just helps build a little bit of a gap as they head towards Spoon.
Mikkonen in the pits from P2.
Oh, Murno. So yeah, Murno will now retake 3rd. No issues there. And Mikkonen will come out ahead of Curtis.
That's crucial for him. Of course, he has lost position to Laflamme and Smith, but Mikkonen will now have the freshest tyres. It's another set of hards. And yeah, this is the race that we have been announcing so far. It will be very strategic, as we have so many different drivers now on very, very different strategies. So this will be very interesting to see how it will all pan out in the end. If that early pit stop for Vanguard will help them secure the race lead and the win that Poland's looked set for in the first stint.
Yeah, obviously keep an eye on the gap now, 6 seconds between Poland's and Murno, and we'll see if that comes down, because obviously Murno has a much greater tyre offset as a result, and then obviously Pushka yet to stop, but we'll need to soon. Oh, and Curtis goes slightly wide. There's a chance for Meneghetti, but unfortunately it's not really the opportunity on this long sweeping right-hander, as Murno sets the fastest lap of the race. Statement of intent there. And Meneghetti can't capitalise. Curtis gets away with one there. It's a good exit from Spoon, though, for Meneghetti. Tucked in to the slipstream. Up to 130R we go. Meneghetti's going to try to the outside. He's going to be behind. Is there going to be a dive into the Casio triangle? He thinks about it, but I think it's quite half-hearted. Benson Reed just picked up a warning for race control for blue flags. Murno currently the fastest man on track. But this is interesting.
Yeah, and that was a very nice defense that Aaron Curtis has put up there. Just putting it middle of the road towards 130R, so that there is pretty much no opportunity. You can't dive down the inside into that corner, so you only have to have the outside to go to, and then there is just no way to make that move there. if you're not half ahead already going into 130R. So you can see there by that bit of driving, not by that bit of driving, why Curtis has been a cork in the bottle in the midfield there, and I think now Meneghetti might have a chance, though they're still side by side going into the hairpin, and somehow Curtis still hangs on for the moment. Diogo Meneghetti will have the insight, but Curtis gets the better exit, and somehow they still hold on to that 7th position. That is some great defensive driving.
I mean, obviously a couple of mistakes we've seen from Curtis, so the pressure is clearly telling from having Meneghetti and now the other Potenza Machado behind. But as mentioned, their car positioning and their reaction to both of those mistakes spot on, because it's kept Meneghetti behind firmly but fairly. In the meantime, Daniel Benton Reader becomes another DNF this afternoon. Both Better Julias are now out.
Yeah, this is a great opportunity again for those teams lower down the order. 7 cars already retired, and we're not even at the halfway point of this race. So, yeah, big opportunity there. Maybe even for Willarmi or Frigoto to pick up some points later on.
Now this is big, because obviously Potenza and Velocita are separated by 2 points at the moment, so it's vital that both Potenzas are in the points, and they're both ahead of Yannis Volborn in the Velocita, who's been leading the charge. Obviously, Better Julia, with both retirements, would lose 7th place to Potenza Esports this afternoon. It's such a shame that Kambarov retired, which we assume is a disconnect, because he was going to get some points for Lucky Hamish, but now they're not in the points. Denny Vella's in 13th, which means Potenza could even get closer to 6th. There's a chance for them. It's so tight between Lucky Hamish, Better Julia, Potenza, Velocita. It's vital points picking up this afternoon. So Meneghetti and Machado will do everything they can to stay where they are. That's huge.
Yeah, absolutely, and they're still in a fight with Aaron Curtis, as we've seen so far. So there's even an opportunity for both of them actually to make up another spot each. That would be another couple of vital points for them. We've just seen Willarmi get a penalty from the game, but we assume this one will be taken back, as well as there seems to be another issue with the track limits recognition of the game. In the meantime, Pascal Polens has caught up to Philip Pushka, and Murno wasn't really able to do any inroads, so he was quicker, of course, than Pascal Polens, but the gap is still 8 seconds, and it depends now all on how quickly Polens can clear Philip Pushka. Pushka, of course, yet to pit, and that is a very long first stint, and you might wonder, is he trying to go for a one-stop? Well, he would need to stretch those mediums for a very, very long time then.
Yeah, the mediums really haven't shown much life from everyone who's run them so far. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see if that's going to be the case for him. But obviously, he's going for something radically different to try and make something happen. It's definitely worth a go. It's hard to make the moves on track, and he was essentially stuck in third and, holding station. There wasn't really any changes up until that point. So, yeah, he's trying something different, and I'm sure Lucas Murner is going to be hoping he's going to at least try and provide some resistance now to Pascal Polens as we head into Spoon.
Yeah, and I think Lucas Murner has already gained around 2 seconds this lap only. The gap was at 11 seconds as they were starting. Okay, now it's back up to 10.3. So it swings back and forth, but he's definitely already gained quite some time on Pascal Polens. Into the Casio triangle they go. Is there a move for Pascal Polens? No, he stays behind.
Oh, right over the curb on the entrance of the Casio triangle there as well, as he's still trying to line something up into turn 1. He has a bit of a power slide coming out of the final turn 18, but he's still close enough. He's got the slipstream. We know that one of the weaknesses of the SCMM is straight line speed, and Pascal Polens powers past into the lead of the race, and that's all going to plan for him. In the meantime, back to Aaron Curtis, who is still defending from Meneghetti with Machado just behind. And Curtis has done a gargantuan job. He's not given up any places. They've not, given up any places on the road. Other people have stopped, but Curtis just holding strong in 7th at the moment.
Yeah, this is an incredible performance, and all of those 3 cars you see in that shot, they also, or they haven't pitted either, so they might also be trying that unusual and optimistic one-stop strategy. At the moment, it has put them right into the point-scoring positions. And Woolborn, of course, he has been gaining. He has already pitted. He was part of that queue as well before his pit stop. But then there's a big gap to Rustemeyer behind, so they're all definitely fighting for points this afternoon.
Yeah, it seems like it, unless everyone gets bunched up. A safety car. Seems like the case. Just kind of having a little look in the server. Vitaly Kambarov, all of the servers disappeared from the list in the game, so it is very much a connection issue that took them out of it, which is such a shame when they were running in the top 5 at the time. But yes, fortunately, a 3rd DNF from 3 for Kambarov, and 2 of them, I think, were connection issues, to say the least. So surely points at some point for Kambarov. But very much an elbows out racer, but clearly talented, but could do something in WMSC in races to come.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's been running in the points at every race that he's competed in. It's just a bit unfortunate with these connection issues. But as we said, it's kind of the equivalent of mechanical failures in real life. This is the stuff you have to deal with in sim racing.
No, absolutely. Meantime, Gino Gajano, who at one point earlier in this race had lost the front wing, is trying to now get past another United Racing Club car in the form of Dominic Rustemeyer. And approach the Casio Triangle, so see how good his exit is. It's very neat and tidy there from Gajano. Corrects a little bit of snap there on the wheel just through the 18th and final turn. And the slipstream is happening, but I think he's going to get there just a moment too late to try and look at the move. In the meantime, Filip Puška has finally come in and put the medium tyres on. 29 laps on the hard tyre, much longer than anyone else has done. See what he can do with that tyre offset. He's going to have to try and overtake Laflamme on the road. In the meantime, it looks like a switch has been done again. Mikkonen is past Smith and now trying to charge up the road. Remember, these two stopping at very different times because Smith started on the mediums. In the meantime, Gajano so close behind Rustemeyer, puts up the inside of the hairpin, but backs out of it. It's put Rustemeyer offline, though, for the exit, but can't get anything done there. And tucks in, and then up to Spoon. Now, Spoon is a bit of an orthodox place to try and make a move, but he's really, really close. Can he do something on the exit? Here we go. We run out towards it, and Rustemeyer has been able to kind of build a little bit of a gap through Spoon, and again, the slipstream will help Gajano close in towards 130R, but it's not going to be close enough to make a move. Towards the Casio Triangle we go. Does he send it into the Casio Triangle? Not this time. So once again, lining up the car, power down through 18. And he's in the slipstream. He does look about the same distance away, and I don't think it's going to be doing this time. And it is a defensive masterclass from both United Racing Club drivers this afternoon, it seems.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Gino needs to get creative to have any sort of chance to make it past there, because it's, again, the old SCMM issue this year. They just lack the straight line speed to make any moves there, so I think he needs to to send one down the inside at the hairpin, or maybe the Casio triangle, if he's able to get close there. Let's see what he does this time around. Oh, runs a bit wide out of Dagna 1. No, that's Dagna 2 already, and therefore he's not close enough to try anything into the hairpin. So, frustrating afternoon for Gino, I guess. Even more so, probably, for Jogo Meneghetti, who is still behind Aaron Curtis, the other United Racing Club. That's Gaziano run wide there at Spoon. And Philip Pushka has caught up to Axel Laflamme, who will now try to get in the way of Pushka to try and assist his teammate, who is just coming to the pits. And this could be vital, because now, if Poland comes out ahead of Pushka, that might be job done in case they don't have to pit anymore. Pushka tries it around the outside into the Casio triangle. Laflamme runs wide. I think he has to see the position now, but has it been enough already? I think it has. Poland's out of the pits there. It's not even close.
Yeah, I think, considering that Poland's had basically, caught up to Pushka before he'd made his stop. And I think he had a lot of work to do to make the undercut work. And obviously he's pushing hard on the medium tyre, but it's unfortunately not gonna come to fruition this time. Laflamme, under pressure, does at least kind of slow him for a few corners, but even if he'd just let Pushka by, I think Poland's would have been comfortably out. And actually, now Laflamme's got other concerns, as the flying fin of Nikkonen in the HRT is right there and is going to try and chase after Philip Pushka.
Yeah, and again, I mean, we've said that this is an impressive performance by Pessi Nikkonen, but I think the later we go into this race, the more impressive the performance is. He's not put a single foot wrong. They're incredibly quick, and we've seen this with drivers coming in to WMSC and them being immediately quick. But Mikkonen is also consistent throughout this race. Compare him to Canberra, for example. We've seen him be quite quick, but they have also been into some incidents, and that's Laflamme out of the way. Mikkonen through. And unless my timing sheet is incorrect, Pascal Poland will need to pit again, because he has gone for another set of hard tires. Yeah, confirmed by Max Haim in the chat. So Poland is not going to the end. He will have to pit once more. And this might put Lucas Murno back into the picture, because if he can extend his stints on the hards now and immediately switch for the mediums, while staying ahead of Poland, he might nick the race win and, with it, the championship today.
Yeah, this is the big call now, because Murno could use his track position and just try and save it for one more stop onto the mediums, whereas obviously Poland's. We have a slow car in the last sector with no front wing, as Pascal Poland's approaches Casio Triangle. Curtis has finally come into the pits, and Meneghetti's followed him in, so they will resume their battle in just a moment. Machado stopped the lap before. In fact, Machado might have done the undercut here. We'll see how close that is as Mullins continues his charge down on Murno. Machado is not through. No.
Might Meneghetti have been the car without the front wing? Because that is a very long pit stop.
Yeah, I think you are correct. So there's been contact potentially, or it's been an incident just on a curb and maybe Meneghetti's gone in by himself. But either way, that takes him out of the fight, and those vital Potenza points might be slipping away for him this afternoon, as he falls out now behind Dominic Rustermeyer, and unfortunately he's going to have to contend with another United Racing Club car ahead of him.
And Wilborn, I think, has done everything right. He's now a pit stop clear of Aaron Curtis. Of course, he will have to stop again, Janus Wilborn. but he might just have made it past that group of cars. Again, change of position, Mikkonen and Smith. This is interesting. Mikkonen has lost a lot of time, I think.
Yeah, that's interesting because they're still ahead of LaFlamme, who stopped. But yeah, I wonder what happened there to Pessi Mikkonen.
I think the gap between Pushka and Mikkonen was 5 seconds a couple of laps ago. And I don't think that Pushka was that much quicker. We will get an... Oh, yeah, Pessi Mikkonen's last lap time has been a 1:36.0. That is very slow. Misha Smith, his last lap time was a 1:31.2. So there must have been a mistake from Pessi Mikkonen somewhere. Looks like he has recovered, though.
They're clearly trying to push and close the gap to Pushka, and maybe is just put a wheel wrong. Yeah, as noted by Max Hayden in the chat, and I was about to say, obviously fastest lap from Pascal Poland's, currently flying. The gap was kind of holding at like 10 to 8 seconds, and it's now coming down. That last lap alone was 2 seconds quicker than Lucas Murno's. He is absolutely flying. In the meantime, here is Pessi Mikkonen on the run up Spoon, alone at the moment. Is it going to be a wheel on the grass on entry? No, it's fine there. Oh, it's on the curb, just bottoms out on the curb. Well, it was looking inhuman from Pessi Mikkonen, so it's nice to know that he is in fact human. And mistake there, but still in a good position for points. Back and forth. Will need to stop again, but still in the hunt for some good points this afternoon, and has already put 2.5 seconds on his teammate.
Yeah, and he definitely is dropping his CV there for any team interested to sign him next season in case he's interested to go a full season. Because this is an impressive performance. I think the last time we saw that much of an impressive performance by any newcomer was Axel Laflamme when he was filling in for Kostek. In the end of the season, there is a magnum round. That is Paolo Willami. Oh, there's his yellow.
He's going to get going again, though, this time. Yeah, and you mentioned Axel Laflamme. That was at Suzuka as well, funnily enough, at the end of last season in the Kostek. Drove an incredible race to the podium. Obviously, that's seen him in Vanguard this season. And as it stands, is going to win a Constructors title with them. As a result, it's still lining up that way. Even though Murno leads, there is enough points on the table for Vanguard to secure that title this afternoon.
Now, the situation between Murno and Poland's, this one will be quite interesting because at the moment Poland's is faster, but both of them will need to make their last pit stop for a medium tyre. And Poland's may be quicker at the moment, but Murno crucially has track position. So what is the strategy here for Vanguard? Are they trying to push Murno into an early pit stop to then have a bit of tyre offset towards the end on the mediums? Or has their strategy not worked out the way they would have hoped to? Because we are, quick maths, that might be embarrassing, 16 and a half laps away from the race finish. And we saw in the first stint, for Misha Smith, the medium lasted around 14 laps. So maybe we are getting into the territory where you could stop for the medium and make it work to the end.
Yeah, so it's
Though
interesting.
They still would drop both behind Philip Pushka then.
Yeah, Pushka has to stop again as... Oh, no, he doesn't actually, sorry. But obviously Pushka's
theory,
on the medium. Yeah, and this is the thing, though. That medium surely isn't going to last to the end. Is Pushka going to do 2 medium stints towards the end of the race? Oh, Gajano in the wall. Thought that was commentator's curse for a minute, but it's the other SCMM on the inside of the Dunlop curve by the looks of it, and that's very nicely rejoined there in a safe manner. Very odd place to lose it. Wing gone, so that's going to be another repair for him. And that promotes think it's promoted Meneghetti at least up ahead. Denny Vella currently running in the points in 10th.
So there might be something. Tell you what. No, Mikkonen also has to stop again, right?
Yes, Mikkonen definitely needs to stop. So in terms of Murno and Poland's both needs to stop. Pushka doesn't need to, but obviously he's running the medium tyre, so may need to go towards the end. So this is interesting.
It starts already at turn 1.
So has a moment there, carries on, then through the S's we go. And remember, we saw him off the wall. Oh, I see. So loses it in the S's. So, but clearly unsettled by the car at multiple points there.
Yeah, I think there must have been something after that as well, because he was then on the inside. And this is the battle for the race lead right now, and I think Pascal Polens might be close to undercut territory now. So, who will make the pit stop first? They both stay out this time around. No, Murno's in. Murno's in.
Oh!
So Murno has countered the undercut that was possible there.
So this is a vital, vital couple of laps for Pascal Polens now. Vital indeed. The question is, will Murno come out into clear air? I think he should.
That's Gagiano, I think, leaving the pits ahead of him.
It is, so he should clear off out the way. Oh, there is a lot of traffic, though. And Murno out just ahead. Oh, the 10s are there, so Gagiano should move, and Gagiano does. And then, obviously 9 seconds up the road to Pushka. So this is a vital, vital few laps now for Lucas Murno and Pascal Polens. And the strategy might have just suddenly pulled the race back his way. And remember, if it does, it makes Lucas Murno the champion today.
Oh, and that's a United Racing Club car, sister team of Vanguard in the way. Interesting there.
Do we put our tinfoil hats on, or is it just a case that he caught him at an awkward moment there through the second Degner? It was very, very well moved out of the way after that point. It's going to be Paolo Wallami here next, and hopefully Wallami will move quickly. Going to be the exit of Spoon, so Wallami's just got to move. Has he noticed?
I hope he does. I think he...
Well... Oh, my goodness.
Whew.
Just about. So here comes Lucas Murno into the Casio Triangle. Polens, in the meantime, has stayed out, so the gap is 16 seconds now as he come out. Is obviously fluctuating as he goes through the chicane.
But that's the gap to Pushka, so the gap to Murno is plus the 7 seconds as well.
Now, this is really, really important few laps.
Now interesting. I think this might have been a great opportunity for Polens because Murno definitely was held up. Now Murno has the clear track and the fresh tyres. So I wonder, is this 1 lap late?
But is Polens going to stay even longer and go for the tyre offset? Because this is kind of similar to what happened in Abu Dhabi last time out, where essentially he, had that tyre offset to attack Murno and take the race win at the end. It's a risky strategy, though, to do it that way, because ultimately you are giving up track position and banking on the offset. And, as mentioned, you need about a second deficit to make a move around here. It is very difficult to get the move done. So, yeah, I do wonder, has he missed his opportunity there?
So Murno just set a personal best first sector. Full 10ths quicker than Polens.
Yeah, you read my mind there. I was literally about to look and do the same thing. So middle sector, it was 39.5 for Pascal Polens. It's a 38.9 for Lucas Murno. He is flying. And as you can see, the gap is down to 5 seconds between him and Pushka. He is on the move. See what this is as he comes across the line. It's a fastest lap of the race. A 1 minute 27.8, and that is 1.2 seconds faster than Pascal Polens' last lap. So this is huge for Murno.
I mean, he definitely has track position, and Poland's definitely is going for the tire offset because now he will definitely be behind Murno. But then how long can he afford to wait? And how much will then the tire offset be worth? Because right now Murno is pulling a gap that the Polands will have to reel in. Of course, Murno will approach Philip Pushka, who we assume will be trying to make those mediums work to the end, or just go for another stop, because he can afford that. Behind him, Mikkonen will have to stop. The Flam will have to stop again.
Yeah, this is interesting. And how hard does Pushka fight? So there's going to be a massive offset on those mediums between him and Murno. It's going to be very difficult. And we know the SCMM well-documented straight line speed issues. In the meantime, Dominic Rustermeyer finds himself in the points on the hard tyre, which isn't that old, and looking quite solid. Denny Vella, in the meantime, does have to stop. So even though there's a close gap between them, Vella has only been on the hard tyre all day today.
And Wilborn has just come in, and that gap has dropped a lot that he had to Curtis when they came in for their pit stop. So Wilborn stayed out for longer and has lost these 2 positions again. But he will definitely have a tire offset over Curtis and Machado, who are trying to make that one-stop strategy work. Wilborn now also on the medium, so there might yet be another fight for P7 towards the end of this race. Well, very close to the pit wall there.
It's an interesting call there from Max Heyman. We think that Pascal Poland is going to go for a really aggressive soft run. That's a really high-risk strategy when you think about it, because obviously, sure, the softs are going to be, a lot quicker, but they're going to wear faster, and that means it's going to be a really small window to then try and catch and pass Lucas Murno. Like, it's really, really going to be quite tight. I also wonder if Poland is going to kind of keep one eye on how much Pushka holds up Murno as well. But again, that's risky because Murno might just stream by it. It might not be much of a fight at all.
Yeah, that's... And... I mean, there's also the consideration we could get a safety car at any point, or a full cause yellow, and they would still have that safety car, full cause yellow gap. And right now, actually, Murno isn't gaining that much anymore, and now he is in, or just behind Philip Pushka, and from now on, I think he might be held up a little bit. So that might be the situation that Vanguard might be waiting for how it develops.
So that last lap was a second quicker between Murno and Poland's. But as you say, it's now how much of a fight is this going to be? He needs to get tucked up under the rear wing. If he gets the exit out of Spoon, he might get a chance at a 130R. Oh, slow car in Degner 1 reported by race control. In the meantime, though, Murno does have a good exit, but I don't think he's going to be close enough now. Does he get bowled into the Casio triangle? Does he wait for turn 1? This is in a really, really important moment with 10 laps to go. Poland's still out on track. He's going to try and go around the outside. It's risky, not this time. And that might have been too early. Is it going to be... Oh, no, but Pushka's in. Pushka does make the call. So, actually, that has not cost Lucas Murno as much as it could have done. So the gap is 20.3 seconds. Murno has to go pushing. And tell you what, even though he was held up by Philip Pushka, he was still just over a tenth quicker than Poland's that last lap. So, yeah, the time is still coming down.
Yeah, I really wonder what Vanguard's strategy is now.
And remember,
because they are waiting really long.
Yeah, and this all came about because they voluntarily cut their first hard tyre stint short to kind of offset. And, it's an interesting decision that's kind of created it. Oh! Yes, obviously it's showing mediums. You can see the yellow wall tyre there, but graphically sometimes it takes a little while for the game to update. But our timing sheet is showing soft. Pushka is going aggressive by the looks of it.
So that might then be what Poland is trying to do as well.
Yes. And
there
Poland
he
is
goes.
in. This is it. This is for the title. So the first question is, where does Lucas Murno come out, and what is going to be the gap when they come out? Here is Poland's. Where is Lucas Murno? The car drops.
There he is.
So he comes out in the lead. And as it stands...
It shows medium for me.
It shows medium for me. He's gone fresh meat. That's so interesting. And the screen is showing hard tyre, but I don't think that's correct either. Yeah, I think he's on the mediums. And as it stands, 8 laps. Pascal Polands has 8 laps to try and catch and pass Lucas Murno to stay in this championship. Otherwise, Lucas Murno is your 2025 champion.
What a race. I mean, this is everything we could have hoped for. This is going down to the wire. This will only be decided maybe on the last lap.
It'd be interesting to see once we get a flying lap from both of them what their comparative paces are, because Pascal Polands was lightning fast when he came out initially. And remember, this is his first time on the mediums all afternoon.
In the meantime, I'm still having an eye on him. Pessi Mikkonen is on the brink of finishing 4th on debut. He's catching his teammate, who will probably not make it difficult for him to get past. And yeah, that would be quite an impressive debut.
That would indeed. In the meantime, Gino Gajano, who's had an eventful afternoon, becomes another DNF.
Apologies, you can't see the gap between Murno and Poland's right now, but we have it on our timing screen, and I can tell you that that gap, it's fluctuating a lot with the mini sectors around this track, but now, there we go, just over 4 seconds between Murno and Poland's, and this time around we will get the first flying lap to tell you.
As it stands, 5/10 quicker in the first sector, Pascal Polands. So immediately he is flying. Meantime, Machado is trying to reel in Yanis Volborn. Dan's Velocita will gain another point on Potenza.
Possibly even more than that, because I think they're both catching Curtis, who is still on that one-stop strategy with the old medium, and I think they will both catch them. And in fact, no, it's actually Volborn made it past Machado, because Machado also is trying to make that one-stop work, so I don't think Machado will have much to fight back.
I think, yeah, Curtis has been a trouble to pass all afternoon, so it'll be interesting if see Volborn can finally do it. If Curtis can hold on to 7th. Confirmation though, Poland's fastest man on the circuit right now. That last lap was 1.4 seconds quicker than Lucas Murno. Now, obviously, those mediums aren't going to stay at that level, and there is going to be a drop-off. But how long can he keep pushing that hard for?
If he continues to eat into that gap like he did on that first flying lap, we will see them close together in 2 laps' time. So 4 laps then for Murno to defend from Poland's, if he continues to catch him at this rate. Now, of course, remember, these cars are very sensitive to dirty air, so it might be getting a bit difficult, or more difficult, the closer Poland gets to Murno. But yeah, I think we will definitely see a fight for the race win, and it will be decided on track. And not only is this for the race win, but it is for whether the championship goes to Lucas Murno today, or if Pascal Polands carries the fight on to Interlagos next weekend.
Absolutely. Now, as it stands, the Constructors' Championship is being decided. Cesario need to outscore Vanguard by 8 points. But as it stands, I believe Vanguard will gain a further 2 points over Cesario, due to the fact that obviously Murno currently leading, but both Vanguards in the points, and Poland's might yet get past. The gap is under a second there. In the meantime, Pessi Mikkonen has caught Smith. Smith has let Mikkonen by a couple of times already. Will we see it again? I think so. Yeah, Mikkonen through, up to 4th. In the meantime, there is 0.2 of a second between Murno and Poland's. We head towards Spoon, this is. And he's looking so quick. Lucas Murno. Oh, look at that. He's going to try and make move on the inside of Spoon. Oh! And I wonder if there's going to be immediately a call on the radio to say that actually I was bumped out wide, but Poland's is through into Spoon. That is a hell of a place to make a move. But look at how quick he was closing in.
There must have been some sort of moment for Murno, because that gap came down from like 2 seconds to 0.2 in very short time. And I'm sure Lucas Murno, I mean, it looked a bit laggy there. There might have been some connection issues, but I'm sure that Lucas Murno, or at least his team boss, will be putting the eye in the chat, in the in-game chat, which the drivers or team bosses can do to have incidents reviewed, and they will definitely try to argue that Pascal Polands made contact, sent Murno wide, and try to get that track position back to try and fight this one again. No, Polands is not pulling away at the moment.
Yeah, so far holding about half a second between them. Oh no! Murno's lost it! Murno loses it on the deck.
And into the wall even.
He's
Front wing gone. Oh dear.
And all of a sudden, Lucas Murno has just opened the door.
He still would have gone into the final race with a massive points advantage, but now he will lose second place.
Absolutely.
Has the pressure gotten to him?
I do wonder if maybe there was still a little bit of argument going on that he should have, should have been given the lead back, and maybe just in those moments coming through the Degners, or maybe it was dirty air that sent him onto the curb. But he's going to have to come in. If it had stayed Poland's first, Murno second, the gap would have been 14 points. And remember, it's 15 for a win. So, it would have had to have been an absolute abject disaster in Brazil for Lucas Murno to lose it from there. He would have had one hand on the title. Now, the door opens a bit more, and it would be a 5-point swing if he was to finish third.
Tell you what, depending on how long this pit stop takes, Pessi Mikkonen might be third. He will have to change his front wing, Lucas Murno. Oh, and I see in the chat, Alfie White has just written that Misha Smith was taken out by a back marker. And there it is, Pessi Mikkonen, with 3 laps to go on his debut, is running in a podium position.
This is going to be a huge few laps for Lucas Murno. What tyre has he gone on to? He's gone on to the soft.
But it's 11 seconds, the gap to Mikkonen. This is an almighty...
Murno Poland's, no further investigation. Pascal Poland's is currently clear to win this race. So, as it stands, the championship has just been blown wide open going into the final round.
Yeah, 1 lap and everything's changed.
So, as it stands, the gap will be 10 points between Lucas Murno and Pascal Poland's going into the final round. So, it's still very much in Murno's favour, but the door is slightly more ajar than it was. When you consider that, 14 points, it meant that Poland's had to win to stay in the title. Now it opens it to at least third place. But obviously, Murno is still in the driving seat, but it's a huge psychological blow though as well, and it's about having to try and stay calm. In the meantime, Aaron Curtis is once again defending from Yannis Volborn and a Potenza to hold on to 7th.
Imagine yourself saying that sentence 1 year ago.
No, exactly. Oh!
What is
Volborn
that?
slowing. Oh, sorry.
Ah.
Of course, it's got caught off guard by the alternate livery there of the HRT. I think that is coming through.
It is, yeah. Might that actually be Mikkonen?
That might be Mikkonen. So Lucas Murno will be charging up to these guys very, very soon indeed. Can Volborn find anything to get past Curtis?
I mean, this would be... I mean, a lot of impressive performances throughout this race. Of course, Pascal Polens making that strategy work and fighting his way back into the championship, question mark. Then, of course, Pessi Mikkonen, but you can't look past Aaron Curtis, who is making this one-stop strategy work to fight, to finish best of the rest with that unusual strategy.
Just having enough to hold off the Velocito Volborn and both Potenzas as, unsurprisingly, Lucas Murno fastest lap of the race on those softs.
I don't think it's enough to finish on the podium. If Mikkonen does not make any mistake, he will have that podium in the bag. It's just 2 laps.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be enough. It is a huge mistake, and as it stands, the ball is still very much in Lucas Murno's court. 10 points when it's 15 for a win going into the final round, knowing that Lucas Murno has finished no lower than 6th all season. So even if he was to finish there, he'd effectively win the title. Oh, no, actually, no, he'd lose it on countback if he finished 6th. Because Poland would have more wins because he'd have to win the race. So it's still in his court, but obviously it's more open than it ever was, and than it actually needed to be, it has to be said. Lucas Murno, I'm sure he'll be very, very frustrated with that mistake. I think the chance of sealing the title just got to him. I think he allowed himself to think it might be over today, and then when obviously he lost the lead, there was just that moment, that mistake of not thinking, oh well, actually it's not too bad. It's still 14 points. It was no, I can see the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. And we had this before in the history of open wheel racing, that someone needed to finish 5th to seal the championship at Interlagos, and we all know how that went at the 2008 Brazilian Grand Prix. Well, here's Pascal Polens making his way to the Casio Triangle, and I'll let you finish this race, your last one, Ash, here.
Absolutely. For the first time in WMSC history, it goes down to the wire. Pascal Polens takes a must-win victory in Japan, and he is the only man that can stop Lucas Murno, and it has to be said, an imperious performance from qualifying and the race. The strategy made it so close, but a great drive indeed, and he got it done on track. Filip Puška comes in just behind in 2nd. He is now mathematically out of the championship, but a good result for him. But what about this? On debut, Pessi Mikkonen will finish 3rd for HRT. He becomes HRT's 4th different podium sitter this season, after 2nd places for Alexander Knežević, Misha Smith, and Yannis Volborn. What a potential future we could see for this driver. Lucas Murno comes home 4th. still leads the championship by 10 points. But we have confirmation as well with Laflamme crossing the line as well. It is a first ever constructors title for Vanguard Engineering out of the ashes of Optimal Esports. They become the first champions who are not a Holland Racing Team. And the celebrations have already begun. Axel Laflamme, in his first full season, wins a Constructors' Championship. Poland's becomes the only man in WMSC to have won a Constructors' Championship in every single season, having won both with HRT and this one with Vanguard. So it's a 100% Constructors win for him. There is another record, though, that he could end up with that he might potentially not want. And that's the only man to finish second in every single race, every single Drivers' Championship so far. But thanks to that last-minute drama, there is still a chance for him. It's going to need things to fall his way. It's going to need chaos at Interlagos. But if it's going to happen, it could happen at Interlagos. But it's not over. Alfie White has asked, is a replay of Misha's incident? We'll see if we can, but for now, here are your provisional results. Pascal Poland's wins from Philip Pushka, Pessi Mikkonen third on debut for Holland Racing Team. What a result for him. Lucas Murno is fourth, still leading the championship into the final round, but the door is ajar. Axel Laflamme finishes fifth and helps secure Vanguard's Constructors' Championship ahead of Misha Smith, who had a late incident with a back marker to lose a couple of places. Aaron Curtis does hold on for seventh. A spirited fight from them all race long to hold that position. Very well done. Yanis Volborn, more points for him in Velocita, eighth ahead of Dominic Rustemeyer. Diogo Meneghetti is listed as 10th. That does make me think the Potenza might have left server. I will confirm that now. Yes, Diogo Meneghetti's left the server, so it would actually be Diogo Meneghetti, although he's now popped back in ninth. It's showing in the results on the server. Diogo Meneghetti 9th, Dominic Rustemeyer 10th, Mateus Machado 11th, ahead of Denny Vella, Gustavo Frigoto, Gino Gajano, who becomes the first of our DNFs, and there are plenty. Gino Gajano, Paolo Alami, Daniel Benson, Jean Palaro, Harley Self, Gabriel Peckley, Jesus Alejandro Cirino, Vitaly Kambarov, who's so disappointed for him, who may have been in the top 5 himself, and Jendrik Beerhoff for Velocita. And the top 3 are with us, and what an incredible race. And we start with the race winner, Pascal Polands. Pascal, you did everything you needed to today, and even got a little bit of a bump at the end. How are you feeling after that vital win?
Well, I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest. I wasn't really prepared for the pace advantage that we had today. I think it was one of the best performances we had all year, and I think it was a good showing for securing the Constructors' Championship.
Yes, absolutely. Congratulations on the Constructors. Obviously, coming into it, it was touted to be very close, and you seemed to just hook it up in qualifying, first of all. We were expecting it to be so tight between you, with maybe Pushka having the edge, but where did you find those 4/10 from? Because it seemed like everything just came together.
I think that generally we had a car that was set up more for the straights. We had less downforce, and it seemed to work well in qualifying and also in the race. So that's, I think, where we gained the most time. Efficiency is really important, especially after Spoon, all the way down to turn 1, basically. And that's where I think we gained the most amount of time.
And then looking to the race, obviously strategy played a big part. What was the thinking behind obviously cutting short that first hard tyre stint? Because obviously it's a risky game to obviously play with the tyre offset at the end. Great for the neutral to see you then have to kind of overtake Murno to stay in the championship at the end with the fresher mediums, but also a risky strategy. What was the thinking behind that?
Well, in practice, we tested different scenarios, and the 3-stopper was the fastest one for us. Not by much, but maybe by like 6 seconds. And yeah, during the first stint, we saw that we had a gap to the cars that were behind after Philip, so we only had to overtake Mikkonen, and yeah, unfortunately, I also had to lap John Palaro, which cost me 2 seconds in that lap, and because of that, I was stuck behind Mikkonen for the first sector as well. But yeah, in the end, it's the risk of going for a 3-stopper, but yeah, it was always planned, but also could have switched to a 2-stopper. It would have been necessary, so we kept options open in the end.
Now, obviously, you made the move up into Spoon, which was not. I don't think that might have been the only move we saw today going into Spoon. Was it to try and catch him off guard, or was it just you felt like you had the pace there? Because obviously there was the moment that sent him wide, and there was no further investigation from that. Yeah, what was it? Just kind of thinking, oh, I'm going to catch him off guard, or did you think I've got the pace I'm going through?
Multiple things were going through my head. I mean, first of all, he had a little moment going into the hairpin. So I gained, I don't know, like half a second through that corner alone. And as I said before, we had really good straight line speed. That also helped. And I think the most important factor is that I know he can't really take too big of a risk because of his position in the championship. And yeah, it's just that I went for a gap. So I'm a racing driver.
That's a good saying. That they should put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Lucas Murno had a big incident and went in the wall behind you in the Degners. That means the gap is 10 points going into the final round. Obviously, it's still in his favour, but how are you feeling? Obviously, first time the championship goes to the final round, and how do you fancy your chances at Interlagos?
Well, for sure, I still only have outside chances. But yeah, we've seen that everything can happen. But normally, the field is so spread out this year that under normal circumstances, it's just Monos to lose. So yeah, I'll just go into it like every other race, try to win it, and that's about it. That's all I can do.
Well, best of luck and congratulations on the win today to keep it alive. That was a vital, vital race indeed.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Philip, on to you. Obviously, good pace in qualifying, solid pace in the race. Finding it hard to make the moves. Was it kind of using strategy to see if you could kind of jump ahead and get yourself into a race winning position today?
I think the pace was just not there. Pascal was way faster, so I tried something different, which didn't work at all. So probably should have done a different strategy, different setup. But I think in the end, it's a deserved win for him. Congrats! And yeah, I mean, P2 was the max anyway today, I think.
Obviously, you've been really consistent all season long, and it looks like you are kind of locked in for third in the championship, which is solid. Are you already kind of looking towards next year with SCMM and trying to build and mount a more concerted challenge for 2026?
Yeah, I mean, you always look ahead and positive. I think we had a great season considering the deficit we had in some races, but I think there's some more potential to unlock. I think the car was good enough to win today. I wasn't, but I think the car was there. So I think if the practice goes a little bit better, the setup goes a little bit better, and strategy obviously, and some incidents get left out of I call it in the season that we had. I think the challenge would still be on for the championship, but yeah, I think next year is a new opportunity, and looking forward to it.
Absolutely. One more race to go. How do you fancy your chances at Interlagos, even to finish on a high?
Yeah, I mean, I have nothing to lose, so let's see.
Absolutely. Congratulations, Philip. Very well done.
Thanks.
Pessy, to you next. First of all, welcome to WMSC. I know you are incredibly new to everything. What a result to come in. I believe you joined the server this week and finished, obviously, podium on your debut. Welcome, and how was that for you?
Yeah, thank you. Race went really well. I didn't make many mistakes. Spun once in Spoon, but much time wasn't lost there, really. Strategy was really good. I managed to, on the start, get a lot of people down from 16th due to there being some kind of incident, which I didn't really see. Yeah, I think it's a okay result for first race.
I would say much better than okay. Just kind of obviously you've come in very quickly. Have done much sim racing? Like, how many other leagues have you raced in before? It's just give us a little bit of background about you.
No actual leagues. I mostly drive iRacing and other simulators, but I've not been in a league so far. So this is a first experience.
Well, I think that makes it all the more incredible. How are you finding then the WMSC cars then? Because you find them quite grippy to say the least. How have you found driving them? Obviously, you seem to get on well with them in terms of pace, but yeah, as an experience to drive, what are they like in your opinion?
They're very different from what I have driven on previous cars, but I do like them. Once you get the setup right, it's really fun to drive, do quali, do race, and the cars are really consistent. I like that.
No, brilliant. And then obviously with you kind of coming in as a stand-in today, do you know what your plans are for the future? Are you looking at kind of joining a team full time or being a stand-in? What does the future hold? Because you're obviously very competitive in a decent car.
To get some seat would be the main objective. We'll see what seat or if it's any seat. Hopefully some seat.
Well, I think you've done an incredible job at putting yourself in the shop window for people. A fantastic result. Congratulations, Psi.
Yeah, thank you.
And that brings us to the end of the race today in Japan, but not the end of the championship. An incredible season that sees the Constructors' Championship settled in favour of Vanguard, but we are still awaiting our new first-time winner between Lucas Murno and Pascal Polens, and it's going to be an interesting finale, which is all over to you, Robin, for next week. So yeah, you've got a season finale to preside over.
Yeah, and I would like to again take the opportunity at the end of the stream to thank you for all the work that you've done for the WMSC and IBOS in general. So it's very much appreciated, and it has been a pleasure to work together with you. And I had a lot of fun commentating over the last 3 years with you. So yeah, let's hope our paths cross again in the future. And yeah, I will be very much looking forward to that season finale next week. And thank you for everything and for your commitment, Ash. It has been a pleasure.
No, thank you very much. I really appreciate it, Robin. As I say, it's been a pleasure to commentate on the races for the past 3 years. Pleasure to work with you and Dennis, and indeed everyone in the league. Obviously, everyone that comes through here in terms of the drivers, helping with building up the stories of the league, because it's not just about what happens on track; it's just about the people and what happens off it. And I think something really nice is building here. And even though I'm not going to be in the commentary box, I'm very much going to enjoy seeing the series hopefully go from strength to strength and where it goes from here. But yeah, an absolute pleasure. It's been so much fun commentating with you as well, and it's made it yeah, a really enjoyable experience. I'd never done any commentary or live streaming before this, and I've absolutely had a great time, and that's so much in part to yourself and Dennis as well. So yeah, thank you so much, and yeah, it may be goodbye from me, but in a week's time, the season finale, to Interlagos. Be there to watch it. A new champion will be crowned. Thanks very much. We'll see you soon.